Hi everyone. We were discussing poem London written by William Blake. And in my first lecture on this poem, I discussed that William Blake has criticized three institutions in this poem. First of all, it is the institution of church, then it is the institution of monarchy or palace, then it is marriage. So, in this stanza, which is blue in color, the poet has criticized church and monarchy. Okay, and can you see the words in green color? These are the meanings of the words which appear in the poem. Okay, like appalls, hapless, sigh. So, let us start. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls. See, first of all, who are chimney sweepers? Chimney sweepers are the one who clean the chimneys of industries. See, chimneys are areas of an industry which are located at a higher place and smoke comes out of it. Chimney is the place where a young man cannot enter and clean it. So the industries usually hire little boys to clean it. Okay, so if the chimneys are not cleaned, then the smoke falls on the city, on the houses, church, shops, whatever buildings are there in the city. Gets dirt. The buildings get dirty because of the smoke. But if the chimney sweeper cleans it, then then whole smoke is the whole smoke falls on the sweeper only. Okay, so the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls. So not only the poet says that what the church thinks, what the church thinks that the boy or the chimney sweeper gets black or dirty not only from the outside or not only physically he gets black, but he gets black mentally as well. His consciousness gets black. Okay, that is why when the chimney sweeper cries because of his sufferings, then the church walls get black. Means his cries blackens the church walls. Okay, now what is the meaning of appall? Appall means to disapprove. So the line means that when the chimney sweeper cries because of his sufferings, the church walls became black and the church ignores the cries of the chimney sweepers, okay, or the poor people. According to Blake, it is the duty of the church to organize the society, means to eliminate the distinction between higher and poor section of the society. But here, the church ignores the sufferings, the pains of the poor section of the society, which is uh, discussed here by the chimney sweepers. Okay, then and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. Hapless means unlucky, sigh means to breathe out slowly in pain. And palace here means monarchy or the government. So, see the word blood and the word soldier. There is a connection between the two. Here, the poet suggests that to secure the rule of the monarchy or the government, the soldiers must have fought the war, and perhaps in the war, the soldiers get injured, or most of them had died. So, the blood which must have burst out of their bodies is saying the blood is symbolizing the pains of the soldiers. Okay, and this blood has colored the walls of the palace, or walls of, or the institution of government. Okay, students, can you notice here that chimney sweepers are working for church? Otherwise, if they will not clean the chimney, the church will get dirty. So it is the chimney sweepers who are making the church pious or pure or white. Okay, and soldiers are sacrificing their lives or maybe their body parts because they must have got injured. So they are sacrificing their happiness. Soldiers are sacrificing their happiness for the sake of government. But church and government are not paying attention to the sufferings of the chimney sweepers and the soldiers. It means that the institution for which the poor people are working, those institutions are indifferent towards the poor people or the workers. Okay, it means the aristocrats are not uh, paying any attention to the poor people. So the condition of the poor people remains unchanged. See, can you see the line? Smoke and blood have discolored the walls of institutions. It is the fourth line in the explanation section. So it means that smoke and blood, smoke is black in color, and blood, which is flowing out of the bodies of soldiers, have discolored or made the buildings of the respective institutions discolored. Means they have uh, made them uh, look ugly, but the respective institutions have nothing to do with it. They are living a happy life by because of the sacrifice of the poor people. All right. Okay. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlots curse, blasts the newborn infants tear, and bites with plagues the marriage hearse. Okay, in this stanza, the poet has criticized the institution of marriage. See, harlot means prostitute. Okay, so here the poet says that I have observed that the harlots curse two people. Firstly, their infants, and then the institution of marriage. So, what is the case here is that the gets harlots get pregnant with their customers, okay, and then the customers get married, okay. It means that now they will not pay any attention to the harlots. So, uh, now the infants of the harlots will not get proper upbringing. Okay, they will not get any proper nourishment. That is why harlot or the prostitutes curse their infants, newborn babies. So first they curse their babies because they will not get proper nourishment, and secondly they curse the institution of marriage. Why? Because they will not get proper employment now, regular employment. Okay, because their customers have got married and they will not come back to them. Okay, so here in the last line, blight means to spoil something. Harlots curse the marriages, or they want that the marriages of their customers get spoiled. Okay, first is this case. Secondly, they have already spoiled the marriages of their customers, because they may have passed on sexually transmitted disease to their customers, and the customers will pass this disease to their wives. Okay, which will lead to the death of the harlots, the customer, male, and then the wives of the customers. So that is why in the last line, the marriage bed has been compared to deathbed. Hers is a vehicle in which coffin is carried. Okay, so marriage bed and marriage and deathbed are compared. Through the case of youthful prostitutes which are cursing their infants and their customers, the poet has criticized the institution of marriage, that when the customer gets married, they will not come back to the prostitutes, and the poor prostitutes will suffer now. Okay, all right. So what is the major theme of this poem is the institutionalization of suffering. See, the institutions depend upon the suffering of the people. They demand that the people should suffer for them, like the chimney sweepers, or the soldiers, or the prostitutes. Okay, they should suffer so that the institutions can work on, they can progress. But when it comes to the suffering of these poor people, the institutions never rescue them. Okay, they remain indifferent to how the poor people suffer. And secondly, we can here observe that William Blake is an experimentalist. So that is why he has not written a visual poem. He has written an oral poem, because the use of words like cry, sigh, curse, they are all they all suggest something which can be heard. Okay. Secondly, the technique of synesthesia has been used in this poem, which means mixing of two senses. Like here in the poem, the senses of sound and sight. Do you remember I discussed in this video only that the cries of the chimney sweeper has blackened the walls of church, and the blood of the soldiers have made the walls of the palace red. So it means cry is a sound, okay, or sigh is a sound. Sigh by the soldiers is a sound, and the color black and red are can be seen. So there is a mixture of two senses, sound and sight. So next thing, the poet is very clever. As I told you, he has written an oral poem. So when we see the first letters of each line of the third stanza, what we will observe, that we will see the word here. Okay, so this is all about the poem London. Okay, thank you for watching, students. All the best.